Zettel für die lange Weg. 2 Flaschen Whisky für die Zeit. Und ich den gern habe, du bist dabei. Maria geht, fahrt mal weg, ist weit. Wann ich geh, ich werd dir fehlen, wann ich geh. Du sehst nicht, was ich mach, du sehst nicht, wie ich lach. Ich werd dir fehlen, du watsch sehen. Hab krieg mein Zettel für den langen Weg. Du scheinst da, als wir finden kann. Es hat Maria und Dale ganz wunderbar. Hass ich dir den weißen Dank. Wann ich geh, ich werd dir fehlen, wann ich geh. Du sehst nicht, was ich mach, du sehst nicht, wie ich lach. Ich werd dir fehlen, du watsch sehen. Well, Gouda Obit Liebe Leid. Good evening, dear people. That's your Pennsylvania Dutch greeting, and it is great to be back with all of you for another episode of PA Dutch Live. Can you believe May is halfway over? We're soon knocking on Memorial Day's door, and then right after that, it's gonna be summer here in beautiful southeastern and central Pennsylvania. Well, it'll be summer everywhere here in the northern hemisphere, but I'm calling it, close to home here. As is always the case, I'm so glad that you guys are joining me wherever you are joining me from this evening. Please put in the comment section if you're watching on Facebook or if you're watching on the YouTube channel. Please tell me where you're joining us from. I love to give personal shout outs to see where everybody is, where this show is reaching out to. And we got a great show coming at you tonight. We're going to have a guest that has been on before. I'll talk about her in just a little bit, but let those comments come on. Let me know where you guys are joining us from. We got Seth, who has joined us regularly over the last year plus. Gouda Numi Dog Do. Seth, great. Thanks for joining us. And we got Dolly Moyer. She's with us every month. Thanks so much. Hi from Berks County, home of the Kutztown Folk Festival. Well, now that makes sense because we're going to be talking a little bit about the Kutztown Folk Festival this evening with everybody. We got Mo joining us again. I wanted to say join and then Mo. Mo is joining us from Midlothian, Virginia. He joins us every month as well. Our good friend from across the ocean, Norman, stayed up again till after midnight to join us. Mitternacht in Steinbach am Glan. It's midnight in Steinbach am Glan in Germany, but awake and curious here in front of the TV. The Hund has the Showfuste. We'll have to talk about that some other time, Norman. That's a great comment. But thanks for joining us, Norman. We got Griff joining us. Me and Sydney are watching. Oh, Griff is one of my current students, and his sister Sydney is also one of my students. Hey, I hope you did your study for your German test tomorrow, because that's coming, Griff. All right. But thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. Seth was joining us from San Diego. That's why it's only in the afternoon out there, where it's 6 p.m. here on the East Coast. Kathy's joining us from beautiful downtown Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. And we got Rachel Wiswesser. The Wiswessers are watching from Fleetwood. But now I don't think you can have a more Pennsylvania Dutch last name than Wiswesser. My goodness. I love it. And Fleetwood. Who doesn't love beautiful Fleetwood? My whole youth, I went to Fleetwood once a month. Well, more than that, but once a month I went to Fleetwood to get my hair cut at good old Kermie Nur's barbershop right there in downtown Fleetwood. So shout out to Fleetwood, PA. And my long distance cousin, who I love dearly, Carol, is joining us as well from beautiful Burnville, Pennsylvania, there in Berks County. Carol, great to be with you again. And Dell is joining us from Fort Smith, Arkansas. We're going all over the place. If I didn't call on you yet, just let me know in the comment section where you're watching. But we got a lot to talk about tonight. Let me throw some stuff into the stream here so we can all see what's going on. We got one heck of a show coming at you tonight because, as I mentioned earlier, we are welcoming back a former guest, Heather Zimmerman, who is the director of the Kutztown Folk Festival. And we're going to be talking all things Folk Festival tonight because, guys, the Folk Festival is only a little bit more than little month and a half away, and then it's Folk Festival time. And I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to find out all the great things that the Folk Festival has going on this year from the director herself. We'll be checking out the website. She shared some things with me that I want to share with all of you, some information, schedule of events. There's tons of really great stuff coming at you tonight if you're interested in the Kutztown Folk Festival. And if you can't make it this year, put it on the calendar for next year. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that too here in the future on the show tonight. But as I do every month, I like to start off with some things that are going on in Pennsylvania Dutch country. So if you are out there and you're looking for something to do in the greater southeastern Pennsylvania region, here are some things to share with everybody. First off, mark your calendars, Saturday, June 25th in historic Schaefferstown, Pennsylvania. That's in Lebanon County. It is their annual Cherry Fair. Now, the Cherry Fair didn't take place the last couple of years because of COVID, but it is back, and this year is going to be a doozy. On the 25th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., you can see all the information there. Admission's $5, children 12 and under free. There will be crafters, colonial demonstrators, farming demonstration, hand-on activities, wagon rides, house and heirloom garden tours, sawmill demos, blacksmith shop, cherry sweets, tasty food, ice cream. There's going to be live music. My goodness, people, what more could you be looking for on a Saturday in June? Nothing. So get yourself down to historic Schaefferstown on the 25th of June for their Cherry Fair. It'll be a good time. That is for sure. We're going to talk more about this, as I mentioned, but just in case you don't have it on your calendars yet, July 2nd through the 10th, coming up, the Kutztown Folk Festival, America's oldest folk-like festival. Trust me, we'll be talking a lot about that here in the couple of minutes coming up. But another thing to put on your calendars, a little bit later in the summer, August 12th and 13th, our good friends at the Goshenhoppen Historians will be having their 54th annual folk festival. That will be on Friday and Saturday, August 12th and 13th, at the Henry Andis Plantation there in Perkiomenville. That's down there in beautiful Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Mark your calendars. This is a wonderful festival. They as well had to take time off because of COVID, but they're back with a vengeance as well this summer. And I know it's going to be a wonderful festival. They do a really, really good job down there at the Goshenhoppen. So mark that on your calendars. One other thing I want to share with you before we go to our guest this evening. I happened to come across this image on Facebook tonight. For those of you that follow along on my YouTube channel know that from time to time, the topic of tattoos has come up, whether it was in our Ask a Pennsylvania Dutchman series, the series of videos I do with my good friend Chris LaRose. We did a whole episode on tattoos and Pennsylvania Dutch themed tattoos. Well, son of a gun, people are getting them done. Take a look at this. I just happened to come across this. A friend of mine on Facebook posted this picture today. Now, I'll tell you what. Now, that's something pretty, isn't it? As we'd say where I'm from. How about it? We got the distal fink, we got the heart, we got the motifs going on there, Pennsylvania Dutch stuff. But maybe you're into tattoos, maybe you're not. Maybe you're thinking about, maybe someday I want to get a tattoo. Why not get something PA Dutch themed? Look how pretty that looks. I think it's great. Now, full disclosure, I personally don't have any tattoos. I think my father said I'd be written out of the will if I got a tattoo. But for right now, no tattoos on this guy. But I love seeing him on other people. How about that? All right. Hey, I want to give a shout out to a couple more people that joined us, that are joining us tonight real quick. And then we'll bring our good friend Heather in here. Lou Ann Connor is joining us from Manchester, Maryland. Welcome, Lou Ann. You've joined us in the past. Thanks for being back again. Joyce Ann Deal from lovely. Now, where I grew up, we said Gettysburg. Now, I know a lot of Pennsylvanians and other people say Gettysburg. I don't care how you pronounce it. Thanks for joining us, Joyce. Ginger is joining us from Sacramento, California. We got the West Coast well represented tonight. And Dee is joining us from Mineola, Florida. We are going coast to coast and across the ocean, people, as we do every month. And I'm so glad to have all of you joining us. But now it's time to turn the show over to someone that knows a lot more about the topic that we're going to be talking about tonight than I do. And that is our good friend, Heather Zimmerman, who is going to be coming off in here into the live stream. Let me bring her in to talk about all things Kutztown Folk Festival. And I'm going to go to this type of screen. Heather, welcome and thanks for joining us again.
Thanks, Doug. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
So I'm going to ask you a tough question right off the bat. Do you have a Pennsylvania Dutch themed tattoo, Heather?
I don't, but I think, that tattoo is pretty amazing, actually. So I don't know who could beat that one. Yeah,
I agree. Cool. Well, Heather, I'm so glad that you agreed to come on the show again. We had you on, it's probably about a year ago.
Yeah.
Well, I don't remember when it was, but anyway, it was right after you had accepted the position as
Mhm.
director of the folk festival. And you and I have been talking a lot over the last couple of months because I've been involved in one of the committees that is
Mhm.
involved in organizing the folk festival this year. And I just wanted to have the opportunity to bring you on to let everybody know that, what the folk festival is going to look like this year. What are some of the special new things that are going to be taking place? And also, let everybody know that it's still the Kutztown Folk Festival, the festival that you grew up with or the festival that you've known, all your life. But it's a little different too. And I just wanted to give you the opportunity and to let the audience know, hey, this is what you can expect if you travel to Kutztown this year. So
Awesome.
where do you want to start, Heather?
Well, I mean, I think it's important to note that the Kutztown Folk Festival that everyone has known and loved for years and years is back, July 2nd to the 10th, 9 to 6 every day. We haven't been operational for 2 years, so we're super excited to be back and up and running. I think people who are familiar with the folk festival and have grown to know and love it so much will see all the familiar favorites that they've always come to expect. In fact, we just started setting up the fairgrounds last week, so it's exciting, and some of our larger buildings and stuff will be put into place next week, so it'll start looking real soon. So again, the actual footprint and the things that everyone has come to know and love will be there. But as with everything else, things have to evolve in order to stay fresh and new and to attract new visitors and more visitors. Because ideally we want to appeal to a younger generation who may not be familiar with Pennsylvania Dutch culture. We want them to fall in love and want to continue to come back and bring their kids and their kids and their kids. So because 70 years is not long enough. We want to keep us going. So
That's right.
in order to do that, we need more people to keep coming. So one of the new things we're doing this year is something called Fresh Fest Market.
I'll tell
And
you what, Heather, before we get to that, I brought up the Folk Fest website just
Mhm,
to show everybody, and it's interactive. I can work with it here.
sure.
It's kutztownfestival.com.
Mhm,
And it's a brand new website this year,
it
and
is.
I find it really user friendly. But is there anything on the website specifically that you'd like to draw attention to before we start talking about some of the brand new stuff?
Sure. Well, as you mentioned, Doug, the website's brand new. In addition to the website being brand new, we went through a complete rebranding this year too. So our logo that up in the upper left corner there was designed by Patrick, who is there painting the hex sign at the folk festival. That's Patrick Dummoyer from the Pennsylvania German Cultural Heritage Center. Another huge part of the folk festival every year. He designed our logo, and there is an explanation at the bottom of that page that describes what the logo means. And he designed it. We were very thoughtful with our design because we thought, yes, it's new and it's fresh and we're going, in a fresh direction, but we don't ever want to forget where we came from and what we're truly about. So Patrick designed it so that different elements of the logo, have traditional meaning, which I think is pretty neat. So even though we're doing maybe some new things, we never forget what we're really about, which is the celebration of Pennsylvania Dutch culture. So so I'm excited. There's a store, there's a button there where you can buy tickets. We have under events, there's a schedule of events, drop down menu where you can by day, you can kind of not events, excuse me, plan your visit. I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
wanted to really quick. No, that's
I
okay.
jumped
I was
ahead. Nope, it's not under that either. It's what
It's
to
under the
do,
what to
what
do.
to
Yeah, if you
do.
go to the what to do and then click on
That's
schedule
correct. You would
events,
think it's
um,
as much as I
you
have looked at this, I would know exactly. But anyway, what to do. So there's a drop down menu there. Under the events, we also host some other things throughout the year. So we update that tab at the top as well. One of the things this year is we're doing a dinner in the field, kind of like a farm to table type dinner in the first woman-owned organic hot pepper field is in Kutztown. So
wow.
it's home sweet, homegrown. And we are doing a dinner Thursday evening, the 7th, for about 50 people. You can buy a ticket there. But that's kind of a
What
new thing.
One thing I really like about the new website, and since I'm on this page, I did want to kind of draw attention to it, is if you're trying to figure out what day you want to come to the festival, because you have it's the 2nd through the 10th, so you have multiple days to pick from. What's really nice about what Heather and the other people working for the festival have done on the website is that you can literally go to any day of the week or of the festival and see, what's going on. So if we click on, for example, Friday, July 8th, the entire the multiple stages that are at the folk festival, and those of you that have been there before, we have the main stage, we have the hoedown stage, we have the children's stage, and we have the commons, the common area throughout the festival, and then the seminar stage, the schoolhouse, the Union Church, the gallows stage. And for all of those locations, it tells you exactly what is going on that day. So for example, I chose this date maybe for a reason, because if you notice on Friday, July 8th from 11:15, if you come on to the folk festival that day at 11:15, I and my good friend Chris LaRose will be doing our live Pennsylvania Dutch humor and music at 11:15. So what's really nice about the website is you can see any day of the week, or of the festival, I should say, what is happening at the festival, and you can maybe plan your trip around that. But Heather, as you said, there's so much on this website it's really, it's user-friendly, I think. And B, you can really, you can learn a lot before you even get to the festival. Map of the fairgrounds, places to stay. You can, like you said, you can buy tickets ahead of time. So everyone, please check out the festival's the Facebook page. Well, that too, but the festival's website, kutztownfestival.com. But it's really a great website, and it's really, really helpful in my opinion. So really good job on that.
Thank you. Yeah. So, and you just brought up Fresh Fest. That was one of the things we were talking about. So this is an area across from the Ox Roast, for those who are familiar with the fairgrounds. That is where it's going to be. And it's a collection of some vendors who offer some different food choices. We also have a distillery, a brewery, a winery. So we have that covered too.
And this is brand new to the festival. We've never had this Fresh Fest market. So, and I know I've been involved in some of these meetings, but I want you to tell the audience where did this idea come from, and why was there a push for something like this?
Actually, it's in response to some surveys that we received over the years from our visitors. So as much as everyone loves the funnel cake, me included, there's still some people with some special dietary needs and so forth, or who are vegetarian, or, just looking for something a little fresher and a little newer. So again, we're trying this out. We think it's in a nice spot. It'll be under the trees, opposite the Ox Roast, near the College Boulevard gate. So, and as you can see here, Nesting Box Creamery, for example, is going to also sell her farm fresh eggs, and she's doing artisan ice cream and ice cream sandwiches. Trey wood-fired pizzas. He's harvesting all local ingredients and going to make organic pizzas. Haven Farmstead, they are actually cheese makers right here in the Kutztown area. And they will also be doing some cheese chats. We do have a 10 by 10 stage that will be at this area. And we're going to have a variety of different, some entertainment, some educational things, some, children's stuff. And he's going to get up and do some cheese chats and talk about cheese and how it's made and what to do with it. Unfortunately, My Cup of Tea, our farm, will not be joining us this time, but Eight Oaks Distillery, they are in New Tripoli, I believe. They are actually going to be developing a Kutztown Folk Festival cocktail, and hopefully using some of our other vendors' ingredients. Kutztown Produce Shack, that's a picture of his produce in this photo, and that's exactly what his displays look like. It's just amazingly fresh foods for purchase. Of course, Saucony Beer, a local favorite. They'll be bringing their locally crafted beers. And Cardinal Hollow Winery, they're new to the festival. So, but again, use all organic, local, farm raised ingredients. So it's exciting.
And like you said, of course, a lot of people go to the folk festival specifically for some of those Pennsylvania Dutch iconic foods, like you mentioned, funnel cakes or sausage sandwiches, etc. But
Sure.
what I also really, as a traditional Pennsylvania Dutch person myself, I appreciate all those things. But when you look at this lineup here on this Fresh Fest, what I think someone that's going to be like, wow, something new, this isn't Pennsylvania Dutch. You could make the argument that, look, the Pennsylvania Dutch we are agrarian people. Our history is
Right.
in agriculture. And
Right.
here we have local farmers that are, or people that are highlighting local produce. And I bet you, well, I know for sure Saucony Beer, I know them, that the owners of that company are Pennsylvania Dutch in heritage. And I would imagine that
Absolutely.
quite a lot of these people are too. So, if there's detractors out there saying, well, I just want my funnel cake. Well, you can still get your funnel cake at the
You can
folk
still,
festival. It will
you know,
absolutely.
right. Go, have a peach and then head over and get, get a sausage sandwich. So yeah, exactly. And, that's the idea, is we just want to kind of have a little bit of an offering for everyone. And we think this could be a really neat way also to showcase our local farms and our,
Yeah.
our roots in agriculture, because every single person on this list uses local ingredients and, fresh ingredients and stuff. So, and that's important to note with the festival, is that everything has to be, handmade in the USA. And, we really strive to bring that local flavor. So we think this will be kind of a neat area.
I think so too. Another thing that you wanted me to share for sure is that, we talked a little bit about the entertainment. What I
Mhm.
think most people don't realize is that when you pay that entrance fee, you get your ticket and you get into in that gate, you're not just getting entrance into the festival. You're also getting entrance to tons of live entertainment.
Right.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. So that's a good point. And we have 5 stages of live entertainment that are included. And actually kind of a 6th stage now that we're adding the Fresh Fest, although that's, we have a variety of different things going on over there as well. But it's important to note that this is great entertainment, and you really are not going to walk through the folk festival and get bored. There's
Yeah.
something going on at every stage for, kind of every taste, every age group. And it's just a very uplifting and celebratory feel. And we're just so impressed with
Yeah.
the quality of entertainers that we get. You're included, Doug. So entertainers, the humor, the seminar stage where someone's doing a talk on contra dancing, so you can kind of weave yourself through the festival, eating, drinking, having a great time. Your kids are having a great time. So we really would never ever be like a craft show with food. That's really what we will never ever be, because I think what sets us apart so much is, like, for example, in this photo is the demonstrations, and the entertainment. It's all very genuine, and our craftsmen, they actually are, showing how they make things and how they paint and how they make pottery and so forth, or woodworking, so that people can come up and experience that firsthand. And you don't get that other places. This is, that's what makes us unique. So we're describing our culture, we're conveying that, but in a very hands-on way. So, and the entertainment, of course, is very much a part of that. Dr. Michael Werner will be here from Germany this year, which is super exciting. We're very, delighted to have him with us as well. So lots of
Yeah.
cool stuff happening.
Absolutely. And it's like you said, Heather, you pay X amount of dollars to get in. Some people might say, well, the tickets are a little expensive. And I understand that. But at the same time, you have to remember what you're all getting with that entrance fee.
Absolutely.
And it's not just getting you through the gate. You get the opportunity to talk to someone that is a redware potter that can
Right.
tell you why did the Pennsylvania Dutch do redware? Why is,
Mhm.
why is that unique? Or you can run into a good friend of ours like Rachel Yoder, and we can talk to her about her folk art,
Right.
and she can
Right.
tell you about motifs and themes often found
Absolutely.
in Pennsylvania Dutch art. And then you can go right around the corner and stop at the seminar stage, like you mentioned, where you can learn about our culture, our history
Of
from
course.
people that are engaging. I know that Heather and her crew, they're not just letting any Joe Schmo come in and talk. They're
Mhm.
getting the best of the best, the people that know the most, the people that know what they're talking about. And the vast majority, if not all of them, are engaging. It's not like sitting in some boring college lecture where you're falling asleep. These people are passionate, whether it's about hex signs, whether it's about the religious traditions of the Pennsylvania Dutch, whether it's about our immigrant story. These people want to share our story with all of you, and they love doing it.
Absolutely.
And they love doing it in 100-degree heat in 98% humidity
for 9 days straight. Yeah, exactly. Straight. Right.
Yeah. But I can't explain enough how the quality of craftsmanship you're going to see at the folk festival with the various crafters and artists and artisans are going to be there, but the quality of the entertainers. These are not, these are people that are professionals. These are the top in their field when it comes to Pennsylvania Dutch folk music. We have a Celtic band that plays every year that are top notch. And you might say, well, why do you want Celtic music? It doesn't matter. They're part of our Pennsylvania story as well. Right. Wonderful, wonderful musicians. Lester Miller and the Miller family will be there doing square dancing, traditional Pennsylvania Dutch hoedowning. And you can see how it's done, and they'll teach you this stuff. Where else are you going to get that? I mean, all in one day, walking experience around the fairgrounds.
It's a great way to put it. And, and I think it goes with, well, and I'll do a quick shout out for Rachel. She also designed a beautiful Fresh Fest Market sign to delineate our area. So, I mean, even that's a super special touch for us as well. Yeah, I think the biggest thing I've taken away, as someone coming in after, being here close to a year, is the heart. What makes us so different is not just the experience and so forth, but it's the heart of all the people who have loved this festival and loved to be a part of it and are so incredibly committed. That you just can't, make that overnight. That happened over years and years. And the care and the concern and the commitment is just, it means a lot to me, to see that and to experience that firsthand. That's what makes us different. It's the extra, it's the sprinkles on top, that really has made our festival unique and different. So,
and we've totally missed a really important aspect of the folk festival too. And all we have to do is look over your shoulder. Let's talk about the quilts.
I am in a quilt cave, which I love. I house all the quilts right now that we have in stock from when we were doing our online quilt store when we were not having the folk festival for the last 2 years. So eventually, all these quilts are going to go to the Quilt Barn at the festival grounds. And I found out that I do have a fireplace in my office, which I did not know I had because it's covered with quilts. So just as a side note, there's a lot of quilts, and we're going to, that's a neat process too. We have a new quilt director this year who has been with the folk festival for about 10 years in the Quilt Barn. Her name's Cindy Hershey. She's extremely well educated on fabrics and quilts, and she's a quilter herself, and she has extremely high standards, and that's something we really pride ourselves on, is that a Kutztown Folk Festival quilt is unique and unlike any others really out there. So
and for someone who's never been to the festival, I guess we should take a minute and kind of explain when you talk about the Quilt Barn, what do you mean by that? So there is a separate building on the fairgrounds at the festival that is air conditioned. It's one of the few places that you can get into the AC.
That's right.
But when you walk in there, what are you going to see?
It's 7,000 square feet of quilts. There's probably going to be about 1,500 quilts this year on display. There's going to be 4 top prize winning quilts that are on display, and then another 20 that are judges' choice. Those 24 quilts then will go to the auction, which is held on Saturday, July 9th at noon. That is a live auction. So, but people can come in, our visitors can come in and look at the quilts, buy the quilts, learn about the quilts. They could even take a turn. We have a visitor's quilt. They can try doing some quilt stitches with us. There's also, we have a really neat raffle this year where we picked a quilt, one of our quilters' quilts. And we had Diane Fallon, who is one of our vendors. She's a watercolor artist. She actually painted, we commissioned a painting as an original with this quilt in the painting. So we're going to raffle that off as the top prize. The quilt will be the top prize. The second prize will be this, original painting of it's a like a Barnes and this quilt in that painting. And then the third raffle prize will be a wall hanging. So that's new for us, and it's really a neat combination. Beautiful work. And then Barry Benikoff, who is the president of the Reading Berks Guild of Craftsmen, he has also crafted some new quilt racks for us. And because we find that some people see something and they're like, well, I don't want it on my bed, but what do I do with this quilt? So we're like, oh, we can hang it. You can do this. So we're actually going to have those things on display as well. And you'll be able to order those from Barry at the Quilt Barn. So Quilt Barn is actually Beltzner Hall. It's located on the Kutztown Fairgrounds, and we really transform it into a quilt barn. So it's an amazing operation.
If you're only if you're out there listening to this and your only background information on quilts is if you go to Walmart or Target and you buy a bedspread, these are all handmade, and they are truly works of art.
Absolutely,
but they're also functional. I mean, there are also a quilt that you can put on your bed.
That's right.
But when you really get the chance to, because of the way they're set up, you can get right up in these quilts. And when you see the stitching and the patterns that these people have incorporated into these quilts, it's like going to a museum in the quality of the craftsmanship and the work and the beauty. But then you can also have the luxury of, if you want to, buy one and take it home too. And you'll never get a quality quilt like what you're going to get at the
Kutztown design,
or design.
So Cindy's very good at, it's quite a process and a lot of criteria. We actually held a class on this back in January to welcome new quilters to the fold. And really, we wanted to explain like what the folk festival quilts are really about. We just are not going to accept all quilts. There's going to be people who registered quilts right now, who we will probably say, not this time, it doesn't work, but, and it's also our job to educate them. And if there's something that they can do better, we're not going to tell them they can never be there, but you need to do this or that. So that's interesting. I mean, the things I've been learning are just amazing, but that operation is quite something. And the quilt that a lot of people ask us at the quilt auction, and I forget how many years ago off the top of my head, the most expensive quilt or the highest bid we ever got that someone purchased a quilt was $15,000. So, and it was an amazing king size, gorgeous quilt. But yeah, that's how much they were a collector. So yeah, so it's just really, it's a special part of the festival.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing I wanted to talk about that we didn't say was we mentioned there's all these food options. Of course, there's the fresh market that we talked about already, but around the fairgrounds are also tons of places that are selling things like traditional Pennsylvania Dutch food. And a lot of those food stands are run by local groups, whether it's the Kutztown Lions, the Virginville Grange, local churches. So that's another thing that you can feel good about if you're there at the festival. When you buy a lot of the food items that are for sale, the money that you're paying is going for a local community group, whether it's the Grange or the Lions Club or a church. And that's always, these organizations, of course, take that money then and put it back into the community in their various things that they do as an organization. So there's another benefit to coming and not only enjoying the good food, but knowing that your money is going to a very good cause that will benefit the people of the community there in Kutztown and the greater Berks County region as well.
As much as, and that I'd like to point out too, they also reinvest into the festival. Like they'll buy, upgrade their equipment or, buy new tablecloths or, so, I mean, it's amazing how long and how long people prepare for the festival. They're constantly thinking about it. They are, preparing for it, buying new items, upgrading. And I think that's a real testament to how much it really means and the quality, because they want to they want to present well and be attractive to visitors. And we're very grateful for that.
And I guess there's something else we need to let everybody know for people that haven't been to the festival before. Now it's going to be interesting to see this year, having had 2 years off because of COVID, what kind of crowds we get. But in the past, over the course of the run of the festival, there have been over 100,000 people that have attended the Kutztown Folk Festival. This is a major event. So no matter where you live here, if you live within driving distance of southeastern Pennsylvania, and particularly Kutztown, there's always buses coming in from New Jersey and from New York, up from Maryland, up from Washington, D.C. region. And you don't have to be Pennsylvania Dutch to come to the festival either. It's a festival where you can learn about the Pennsylvania Dutch, but you don't have to be Pennsylvania Dutch to come. That's for sure. I love when people that aren't Pennsylvania Dutch that I run into at the festival on the festival grounds that are there because they're just interested in learning more about who we are, what our culture is, what our story is. And that's really awesome when we can, when we're putting on such a good show that people that even outside of our own culture say, I want to check this out. I want to learn more. And that's one thing that I think the Folk Festival has always done really, really well. And I think it's going to do, from everything that we've been talking about, it's going to do really well this year too, I think, in my opinion.
From what we've been hearing from other festivals and other events is that, it's 1.5 to double the attendance that, most places have experienced. We're an outdoor event, so I think that's also a plus. Of course, it's a weather dependent thing, but we know that it's going to be 75 and sunny and no humidity already. So I laugh because we know that, the festival is like traditionally very hot, but, I think that what's key in what you said is that we are really trying to attract people who maybe aren't Pennsylvania Dutch because we really want them to learn about us and be fascinated and dig in and, leave here. And, maybe we inspire some kids to learn about hex sign painting or what those mean or barn stars. And, so it's designed to be educational, but we want you to be learning things without even really knowing you're learning anything. You're just having a great time. But these people, I'm born and raised here in Berks County, and I think we take a lot of stuff for granted. And whereas people from other areas, this is going to be very new and interesting and fascinating. And I think they're not going to 10 days won't be enough. They're going to keep coming back year after year. So, that's our hope, and we've done a lot of marketing, or our marketing is kicking in shortly into some areas out of the region to get the name out there and let people know what we're about.
Just a couple last things here before we close this portion of the show. I do want to give one shout out to something that happens at the festival every day of the festival. So if you get tickets, if you decide you're going to come, one thing that you definitely want to check out is the Country Kitchen Pennsylvania Dutch Cooking Experience and Meal. And that's on the events tab of the Folk Festival's website. It's the very first thing. And the reason I give a personal shout out to this is because this is in my opinion, one of the neatest experiences that you can have at the festival. So we have our good friend, my good friend, Terry Berger, will every day is it twice or once or twice? Twice, I think. Twice a day, he will be preparing in a traditional manner on a wood-fired stove, on an old wood-fired range. He'll be producing a traditional Pennsylvania Dutch meal. He does a lunch and a dinner, but it requires tickets ahead of time or reservations ahead of time. So don't think you're just going to get in and show up and sit down at the table. And this is extremely popular because the food is absolutely delicious. And it's all traditional. And the great thing about how this is, you sit down while he's finishing it up, and he then is there at the table talking to you about the meal. He tells you about the ingredients, what the dish is, what's the history behind the dish. And, he does things that maybe you grew up having your grandmother make you and you haven't had in 30 or 40 years. And we've had, I know from firsthand account that Terry has told me multiple stories where he's been making these meals. He'll have somebody sit down. One of his favorite stories is he started off a lunch with a salad with a very simple traditional Pennsylvania Dutch salad dressing, which is just a couple ingredients: mayonnaise, vinegar, a little bit of sugar, salt, pepper. And he had an older couple sitting there, and the gentleman started eating this salad and he just started crying. And Terry said, was that, Terry, is everything okay, sir? Like, is there something wrong? And the gentleman, kind of like got himself together and turned to Terry and said, this salad dressing tastes just like my grandmother's salad dressing. I can feel like I'm in her kitchen again. and the power of food, right? The power
Right.
of these comfort foods of the Pennsylvania Dutch that many of us grew up with. You can have that experience with the cook right there talking to you about how this is made, where the ingredients come from, how you cook on a wood-fired stove. How many of us would be able to do that these days? And Terry does it and makes it look so easy, and everything is delicious. So
I
that is an
agree.
event that if you're interested, someone had asked, where do I get tickets for that? I still don't understand how all this works. Going to be my first time this year. Well, Route 1991 beer. I'm really glad that you're coming to the Folk Festival. So you can get tickets to the Folk Festival on the website.
Yep.
To get into the festival. In fact, I'm going to change my stream real quick. Heather shared with us that you actually can get, if you order on the website and use the coupon code there, 2022 WEB, you can buy tickets for $3 off admission. So there's where during the week, right? Mm-hmm. During Monday through Thursday, if you're coming to the festival those days. If you're coming to the weekend, then you're not going to get that discount. But anyway, that's an opportunity for people that are coming during the week.
Right.
So if you're coming to the festival, you can get your tickets ahead of time, and the ticket gets you in the gate. And if you don't want to buy your tickets ahead of time, that's fine. You can get your tickets at the gate. Then once you're inside the festival, there are very few things that require any other kind of reservations. In fact, Heather, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the only other thing that would require some kind of signing up for would be the meals at the summer kitchen there that we were just talking about.
That's correct. And you can purchase those when you go to buy your tickets. There's also a block that will come up on that very same page that has the place where you can purchase your ticket. So, and what it does, there's a drop down menu when you go to buy the ticket. If you click on, I think, if you go up to buy tickets to the upper right hand corner, that little
the one that says buy tickets that I'm trying to look for.
That little red box. If you click on that, that should bring you to our tickets page, and that will also tell you.
Yeah, it's lagging for me a little bit. My
lagging.
apologies.
Okay. If you go to buy tickets, it brings you to a series of blocks, and then that's where you could purchase your admission ticket as well as your country kitchen dinner ticket. And it's going to tell you what's still available, because the opening day is sold out. There's a couple other days that are sold out. So, but there's still plenty of opportunity to get in there and get your ticket.
I know why it opened in a new tab and I wasn't sharing that. So everyone, if you click on the buy tickets tab, this is what comes up. And then you can see that the very first one is the Country Kitchen Pennsylvania Dutch cooking experience and meal. And then you'll be able to buy those tickets. Here you can get a weekly ticket. You can get a midweek ticket. And a weekend ticket. So whatever you're planning on doing in regards to coming to the Folk Festival, all of those tickets can be purchased ahead of time, or you can get them at the gate. However, if you would like to take advantage of what we were just talking about, the meal with Terry Berger, there he is in the picture, our good friend, then you got to get those ahead of time. And as Heather said, those go fast because of everything we just talked about. The food is delicious, and he's such a great guy and entertaining. So if we're doing this episode in May to give you guys, at least a month and a little bit, a month and 2 weeks before the festival starts, that you can jump in and get ahead of some people. So, take advantage of that if you can, everybody.
I'd also like to just mention the midweek ticket discount is only available online, not at the gate. So
the $3 one, the $3 one off that we showed. Yep. That has to be purchased on the website. Okay. Yep. Awesome. And we'll do one other thing real quick, Heather. You had also let us know that there's some, the festival isn't just the festival. Recently, you've been expanding the festival a little bit to a certain extent, or expanding what the festival is. So we have the main festival, June 24th, or excuse me, that's 2023. We're looking ahead. But this year it's July 2nd through the 10th. Mm-hmm. But coming up later on in 2022, you also are going to be having your fall festival again. You did this in 2021, and it was a pretty good success. So you're bringing this back again this year, and you can see there on the page in October, there's going to be the farm to table dinner. And there's also going to be the fall festival on Main Street there in Kutztown with a hoedown stage and a caller. And there's also going to be doing let me change my screen layout. There's also going to be the Dutch Hex Sign bike tour again. And all of this information is available on the website too. So if you can't make it to Kutztown this summer,
Come this
sorry,
fall.
but come this fall and then plan. Which I guess, are we okay announcing this? I guess so.
Yeah, the fall stuff, we're gonna have more information about that as time progresses. We didn't want to have too much out there to make it confusing for people to know what are we talking about, the folk festival, the fall festival. But yes, that's all going to be available very shortly. You'll be able to purchase tickets. You had to purchase tickets for farm to table, and for the bike tour, you need to just register. But
Okay.
the Fall Fest on Main Street, that is free, and that's an all-day event, which will cap off with, we're hoping Lester Miller. We're trying to, poor Lester at 87 years old is, in very high demand. So we're hoping he'll be able to join us again. And then, of course, to your right, and this is going to be printed on the back of all the coupon sheets that we're going to have available for visitors at the Folk Festival this year. Next year's Folk Festival is June 24th to July 2nd, which I recognize is a different time period slightly, but we're giving it a shot. We want to try. 70 years, we've never changed. So this is our time to just give it a shot and see how it works. So.
Yeah, so mark your calendars already for 2023. I put this on my 2023 calendar already on my phone so that I have it blocked off. But yeah, it'll be June 24th through July 2nd. But don't worry about next year right now. Let's concentrate on what's coming here in just a very short amount of time, and we're super excited.
Yes.
Heather, before we let you go, is there any last thing you want to say in regards to the festival while I have you here?
Just that we're super excited to welcome everybody back. We couldn't be happier about that. And just again, a shout out to, everybody. It really truly takes, when they say it takes a village, it takes more. I think it takes a multiple villages to make this happen. And all the love and care that we get from everyone else is just so appreciated. So we're looking forward to a great time, and I hope everyone can join us. Tell your friends.
We will do. And one last thing, I saw another question come up. Until when can they be purchased, and what's the deadline as far as purchasing tickets, Heather?
Well, you can purchase tickets right up until the day of, and even through the festival. As far as any of the ticketed events like the Country Kitchen, I would recommend trying to get into that as quickly as you can.
Another person says, Dee says, I'm coming for the first time too. It sounds wonderful. Heather and her team have really thought about everything. It sounds wonderful and yummy.
Thank you.
I'm so happy that you're coming for the first time. Hopefully it won't be your last time. I think once you
No.
go to the folk festival, there must be these little bugs on the fairground. They bite you. And
Right.
they put something in you that says, I got to go to the folk festival every year.
We pump something into the air that, makes you have to come. It's funnel cake gas or something.
Yeah, I love funnel cake gas. I love it. Yeah, we'll call it that. Sure, we'll go. Well, Heather, I am super excited. I can't wait. Like as I mentioned, and I'm going to be there quite a number of days. We have wonderful entertainment, wonderful food, wonderful crafts, wonderful artisans, wonderful everything. Wonderful everything. So Heather, thanks.
Extremely excited.
I know you've done a lot of work, and there's more work to do yet before the gates open. Right. However, I'm sending you all the positive vibes that I can possibly send you. And I know it's going to be a wonderful festival. No matter what the weather's like, it's going to be a wonderful festival. And it's going to be something that a lot of people are going to be talking about for a long time. I really
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Thank you.
So I will keep spreading the Folk Festival love on my social media accounts. The Folk Festival is active on Instagram, on Facebook. So please, if you're on either of those platforms, check them out with up-to-date information. You're also going to be having a pretty strong social media presence during the actual festival. Yeah. So, live streaming and things.
Yes, we answer questions, all that kind of stuff. So, and yes, I just saw the Dietrichs are going to be there. Yes, Verna's will be there. Yes,
Dietrich's meets will be on the fairgrounds, and that's a reason alone just to come and talk to Verna.
That's a reason. I would too. Yes. So, thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Heather. If there's anything else you need me to spread the word about, you let me know. You know where to find me.
Thank you so much, Doug. I appreciate that.
Okay, good luck and mach's gut.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. Yep.
People, I'm telling you, you can't beat the Kutztown Folk Festival. There's just certain things in life that, there's some givens in Pennsylvania. Given number one, the farm show that happens every year in January. You can guarantee it's going to be snowy and icy when the farm show is happening. And the other given in Pennsylvania is that the folk festival, the weather will always be hot and sticky. That's just the way that it is. But there's two givens. So you know what's going to happen. And I'm hoping that our conversation tonight has sold each and every one of you of saying, I'm going to take a day between the 2nd and the 10th of July. I'm going to travel to Kutztown and I'm going to the folk festival. Even if it's just for a couple hours, if you come in, you buy lunch, you visit with some of the friends that we have here on the channel, like Rachel Yoder or Eric Claypool or Hunter Yoder or Terry Berger in the Summer Kitchen or the Miller Brothers on the Hoedown stage or Patrick Dunmoyer in the Cultural Heritage Center or Keith Brinsenhoff. I can just keep naming names and places, but all of those people will be there. It is the place to be for all things Pennsylvania Dutch for that span of time. And you're going to have fun. You're going to learn something. You're going to have the opportunity to eat delicious food. You're going to have the opportunity to see some of the best handmade quilts in the world. And that is not an exaggeration, people. In the world. Top-notch entertainment, top-notch food, top-notch crafts, arts. What more do you want? What more do you want? All for one ticket price, people. So please check out their website to learn more. It's kutztownfestival.com. I'll have a link to it in the show notes down below. Check them out on social media, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook. They're very active, and they really do a nice job of letting everybody know, what's going on. I did want to give a couple shout outs before we finish up here tonight. Lehighton Magazine is joining us tonight from beautiful Carbon County, Pennsylvania. That is a really pretty region of Pennsylvania. So glad. We got Jerry that's joining us in steamy, hot North Augusta, South Carolina. It's not steamy up here in Pennsylvania yet, Jerry, so you just keep that down there in South Carolina for a while, okay? My good friend Joyce Hassler is joining us from Stone Ridge there in Myerstown. She says it's interesting. Joyce, everything we do here on the YouTube channel is interesting. What else we got? Barbara is joining us from the Pfalz across the ocean. Thanks for joining us, Barbara. So glad that you could be with us. And I guess, this is time now we can move on here to the last couple parts of the show that we always do. I try to give everybody something in Pennsylvania Dutch, whether it's a poem or a story. This month, I have a short poem to share with each of you. May is the month of Mother's Day, as many of you know, of course, and that already has happened and celebrated. However, I came across one quick little poem from one of, if not the most important author in Pennsylvania Dutch history. That's John Birmelin. John Birmelin, we cannot sing his praises enough. He was the master, born in 1873, died in 1950. But before his death, he left us with a wealth of Pennsylvania Dutch poetry, prose, music. The man was the man. The Shakespeare of Pennsylvania Dutch, could we call him that? Maybe. But here is his poem. And it's a little sad, but for some of us, Mother's Day is tough. And this poem spoke to me. So the Pennsylvania Dutch is on the left-hand side. I'll read that, and you can follow along if you understand Pennsylvania Dutch, of course, or if you can't, then the English is right there on the right-hand side. So here is Muddergraab, or Mother's Grave, by John Birmelin. Im diefe Grab mit seiner Kiele Wend, do leidt die Mutter in der Siese Ruh. Es ist alles still, was mas hat so schwer. Ach Mutter, wann ich dir's just sauer kennt. Es reiht mich oft, als ich dir leid gedu. Na bist du fort, was ist die Welt so leer. Beautiful poem. John Birmelin, he's the master. We'll share some more Birmelin stuff with you in the episodes to come for sure. And I think I've shared some Birmelin before too, but every month I also do a song. And this month I'm going with this song. So give me a second to pull out my tenor banjo today. I want to sing this for you. Give me 1 second. So this song, I translated. 1, 2, 3, 4, capo 5. So I guess I'll put myself in the camera. Why not? We'll do it this way, just real quick. No, I don't like that look. Let's go with this look. So this song, Zu lang, bin schon weg, was traditionally written in English by Dom Flemons, who's a really well-known banjo historian and banjo musician. Banjoist, is that the right word? I don't know. Banjo-spieler in Pennsylvania Dutch. It translates into too long, I've been gone. And the song is, typical kind of like a traditional Americana folk song And you'll get to hear a little bit of, I did a direct translation to Pennsylvania Dutch, so I'm going to pull myself out of the screen, but you'll still be able to see the words. You can follow along, sing this for you guys, answer any last minute questions, and then be time to say goodbye. Rauch een kopje koffie in de maaier, ik steek grad auf. Delia is een schöne Mädel, sie ist net mein. Neem een kleine race to the station, ich wär mal gay. Wann wär ich mein Lieb wieder Zähne, weiß ich net. Zu lang. Bin schon weg. Vier Wände und grubbelt mein Zell ist was ich hab, Zell ist all. Und wann ich brauch, etwa mit zu schwätzen, sag ich just, hello, wann, zu lang. Bin schon weg. Der Wind bloß mein Träne weg, ich bin fein. Und wann die Welt scheint so weit weg, ich hab nix, except my mind. Zu lang. Bin schon weg, zu lang. Bin schon weg. Well, there you are, people. How about that? A little bit of zu lang bin schon weg. Not a traditional Pennsylvania Dutch song, but I did it into Pennsylvania Dutch just for all of you wonderful people out there. Someone asked a question real quick about the festival. Will they talk Pennsylvania Dutch at the festival? Well, yes, you would have the opportunity to meet Pennsylvania Dutch speakers at the Folk Festival. The Groundhog Lodge guys are always there speaking Pennsylvania Dutch. Some of the there are events that take place throughout the Folk Festival, particularly the Writers Festival. Now, I'm not quite sure the date off the top of my head, but we can check on the website. The Writers Festival is an opportunity where you will hear original writings in Pennsylvania Dutch written by people that are alive today. I've taken part in the past. Many other people have as well. You'll also have the opportunity on the main stage, Bill Meck. He does traditional Pennsylvania Dutch humor in Pennsylvania Dutch, and then someone translates into English for anybody out there that doesn't speak Pennsylvania Dutch. So the answer is yes, you will absolutely have the opportunity to hear Pennsylvania Dutch. And if you want to practice your Pennsylvania Dutch, there will be tons of people there that you'll have the opportunity to practice your Pennsylvania Dutch with. Everyone, as we close up here, just a couple shout outs and a couple of announcements for everybody. I'd announced this last month, but it's still out there. Please, if you're looking for some Pennsylvania Dutch merchandise, did you know that there's a website out there that's carrying some original stuff? Check out zazzle.com/PA Dutch stuff, where you can find, now on the picture I have here, it's just t-shirts. But the great thing about this Zazzle page is that any one of these designs that you see, you don't have to get them on a t-shirt. You have the opportunity to get them printed on a tote bag, on a button, on a magnet, on a pin, on a baby onesie, they have like over 1,000 products. Our good friend Rachel Yoder and myself, this is our line, so I'm not afraid to say that. Please support us. But if you like the stuff and as the months go on, we will slowly be introducing new designs. We have some that we're working on right now that when they come out, I guarantee many of you will want to get them. I don't want to give any spoilers, but it's some good stuff coming your way. Check out zazzle.com/PA Dutch stuff. Also, if you like what we're doing here and you'd like to financially support the channel, it's as easy as going to the website, buymeacoffee.com/Doug Mainford, where you can virtually buy me a coffee. All money that is raised through this goes to the upkeep of the channel, whether it's buying new microphones or updating the lighting or whatever. I'm not using the money to go to the casino. I'm not using the money. I might use the money to buy a funnel cake at the Folk Festival, but I think I earned that one. But besides that, the money goes to the upkeep of the channel. And I appreciate anyone that wants to support, and I truly appreciate all of you out there that have supported in the past and that continue to support. Mark your calendars right now. Our next edition of Pennsylvania Dutch Live will be on Wednesday, June the 15th, 2022 at 6 p.m. Again, as always, right here on the YouTube channel, on the Facebook page, PA Dutch 101, and it also streams live on Twitter at PA Dutch 101 as well on the Twitter feed. Next month, I will welcome on my good friend, Bradley Smith. Bradley Smith is currently the archivist at the Berks History Center. So he's going to be telling us all about the Berks History Center, what it is, what can you see if you go there. Bradley also speaks Pennsylvania Dutch. He's a good Pennsylvania Dutchman, born and raised right here in Pennsylvania Dutch country. So we'll be talking to him about the History Center. What does it mean to be an archivist? Like, what is that? What do they do? What's he do? And all of the treasures that the History Center has. So be sure to mark your calendar and join us on the 15th. We'll also have something in Pennsylvania Dutch, probably a poem or something, and another song I'll have for you. So please think about putting that on the calendar and then joining us for that great next episode of PA Dutch Live. Between now and then, dear friends, please stay safe. Have a wonderful and enjoyable Memorial Day for those of you that will be celebrating. Remember why we celebrate that holiday. It's an important one that we don't forget why we celebrate Memorial Day. I will be celebrating decorating the graves that are necessary to be decorated. We'll be doing that. The Maidenfords do every year. And maybe you do that tradition as well. Have a great Memorial Day, everyone. I look forward to being with all of you back here again on the 15th of June. Until then, as we always say, reach out on Facebook or on Instagram or on YouTube or on Twitter and let me know what you think of what we're doing here. I always love hearing what people have to say. I love your support. I love all of you. Ich lieb alle von euch. And I look forward to being with you on the 15th. Till next time, dear friends, as we say in Pennsylvania Dutch, mach's gut. Mach's gut zu dir, mach's gut zu dir, mach's gut zu dir für now. Unsere Zeit ist all und so es ist, mach's gut für now. Hoff wieder mit dir zu sein, hoff du bringst zurück ein Freund. Mach's gut zu dir, mach's gut zu dir, mach's gut zu dir für now. Unsere Zeit ist all und so es ist, mach's gut für now. Hoff wieder mit dir zu sein, hoff du bringst zurück ein Freund. Und so mach's gut, lieber Freund, mach's gut.